Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a really fascinating biological shift that happens inside our bodies. It's something scientists are calling the immune cliff, and you know what? Understanding it is absolutely key to staying healthy and resilient, especially past your 70th birthday. Okay, let's dive right in. So, does this sound familiar? You get a cold, something that you would have just shaken off in a few days back in your 60s, but now it just seems to drag on for 2, maybe even 3 weeks. Let me tell you, you are not imagining it, and it's not just some vague side effect of getting older. Nope, there's a very specific biological reason this happens. And that reason is what scientists have dubbed the immune cliff. It's a real biological turning point that happens right around age 70. Now, it's not a slow, gradual decline. It's more like your entire immune system decides to change its game plan, its whole strategy. And yeah, this shift can leave you feeling a bit more vulnerable. But the good news, the really good news, is that if you know what these changes are, you can adapt right along with them. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to look at the big change that kicks this whole immune cliff off. Then we'll dive into the first two consequences, having fewer soldiers and dealing with a kind of constant fire. After that, we'll talk about these silent alarms and weaker walls within your body. And finally, we'll pull it all together with a super clear plan for navigating all these changes. Okay, let's start at the very beginning with the root cause of this whole shift. What is actually happening inside your body that changes the game so dramatically right around your 70th birthday? Well, it all comes down to one tiny, often overlooked little organ. And here is the culprit, the thymus gland. Now just think of your thymus as the immune system's military training camp. It's boot camp. It's where your brand new rookie immune soldiers, they're called T cells, get trained up to fight off viruses they've never seen before. As you can see, in your 40s, that training camp is buzzing. It's active, it's constantly churning out new soldiers. But by your 70s, that camp has pretty much shut down. It's mostly turned into fatty tissue. And that's the crucial point. Your body just stops making new, naive T cells. From now on, you have to fight all future battles with an old veteran army. So this shutdown of the soldier factory, it creates two pretty big challenges for your immune system right off the bat. You've got a limited number of troops, and on top of that, they're facing this new, distracting threat from within. Let's break down these two shifts. So first, like we just said, the T cell factory closes up shop. But second, something called inflammaging kicks in. You see, when we're younger, our immune system is kind of like a light switch. It's on when we're sick, and it's off when we're better. Simple. But after 70, that switch can get stuck, like halfway on. This creates this constant, low-grade inflammation, a kind of silent fire that's always smoldering. And this distracts your immune system, right? It makes it too busy fighting these little phantom fires to notice when a real enemy shows up at the door. So, what do you do about this? Well, the strategy has two parts. First, since you can't make new soldiers, you've got to protect the veterans you have. And that's where zinc comes in. It's found in things like pumpkin seeds and chickpeas, and it's absolutely crucial for keeping those existing T cells in good fighting shape. Second, you've got to cool that silent fire. And for that, omega-3s are your best friend. Things like fish oil or flaxseed, they basically act like a fire extinguisher for that chronic, age-related inflammation. All right, let's move on to the next set of changes, because it's not just about the soldiers. The way your body even signals there's a problem and how it defends its borders, that transforms too. The big idea here is that your internal alarm systems, they just get quieter. And at the same time, your physical defenses, they become a little less robust. It really means you have to start listening for whispers instead of waiting for your body to shout. Now, this is one of the most important things to get. Back in your 40s, a bad infection probably meant a high fever, right? But after 70, your body might not have the energy to crank up the heat like that. You could have a serious infection, like pneumonia, with absolutely zero fever. Your alarm is basically on silent. And at the same time, your castle walls, your skin, and the lining of your gut, they get thinner and more permeable. So germs that used to just bounce right off can now sneak into your bloodstream a whole lot easier. So the fix here really requires a shift in how you think. First, you've got to stop relying only on the thermometer. Instead, you have to tune into these new alarms. Things like sudden confusion, a really deep fatigue, or just unexplained weakness. These are your new warning signs. And second, to rebuild those castle walls, you need the right building blocks. And that means protein. It's essential for repairing your skin and your gut tissue. Just aiming for a palm-sized portion with every meal gives your body the resources it needs to keep those walls strong. Okay, we're in the home stretch. For our final section, let's talk about one last crucial change, and then we'll bring everything together into a simple, effective plan for navigating this new terrain. This slide shows something called the vaccine lag, and it's a perfect illustration. Because that T cell's soldier factory is closed, your body just takes a little longer to learn from things like vaccines. So if you and your grandchild get a flu shot on the very same day, their younger body might build up full immunity in just 5 days. But for you, as you can see, it might take your system a full 10 to 14 days to do the exact same job. Your body's still learning, don't worry, it just needs a little more time to, upload the data. And the solution for this one, it's so beautifully simple. Just plan ahead. Don't wait until flu season is already roaring. Get your boosters and your shots early in the season. That's it. Just give your body that extra 2-week head start it needs to build a solid defense before it's really put to the test. So let's just quickly summarize the whole protection plan. First, eat for defense. That means focusing on zinc to protect your T cells, omega-3s to cool that inflammation, and protein to rebuild your barriers. Second, learn to listen to your body's new quieter alarm system, those whispers of fatigue and confusion. And third, plan ahead by getting your vaccines nice and early. Reaching 70 and beyond, that is a real privilege. And while a term like the immune cliff might sound a little scary, just remember this: knowledge is power. The most important thing to take away from all this is that you are not helpless against these changes. Not at all. By understanding how your body is adapting, you can adapt right along with it. So we'll just leave you with this question to think about. Looking back, have you noticed that it takes you longer to bounce back from just a simple cold than it used to? Really think about it. Understanding the science behind that feeling, well, that's the very first step to taking control. Thanks so much for watching.